You seem uncomfortable. Do I make you nervous, Corky?
No.
Thirsty, maybe.
Curious, maybe.
That's funny. I'm feeling a little bit curious myself.
It's a revenge potting, an affair of the heart. I want no evil gossip spread about me. This was a dignified killing. He was stuffed with the tools of his trade. The crummy little podcaster was stuffed with microphones. Suffocate the bastard. Welcome to Pleasers.
And Punishers.
Where we talk about movies that people love to watch.
Movies that ruin your today, tomorrow, and yesterday.
And all things kinky and queer.
I'm Caitlin of the North.
And I'm May. Got an ass on her like 2 greased watermelons in a sack, Schultz.
And today we're discussing, yep, I was like, I'm not gonna, that's too funny. Okay. Oh.
It's okay, I'm leaving that in.
Wonderful. And today we're discussing how, infertility or no, Georgina would probably be a great screw in The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover from 1989, written and directed by Peter Greenaway, starring Helen Mirren, Richard Bohringer, Alan Howard, Michael Gabon, with costumes, by Gautier, so you know what, and music by Michael Nyman.
As this is a very intense and involved film, we have a special guest joining us. Author, critic, and all-around incredible human being, Gretchen Felker-Martin. Hi, Gretchen.
Hi, May. Hi, Caitlin. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. I'm so glad we got to get you on for this. And tell me, do you enjoy fine dining?
I don't mind it. If you leave me alone in a hole, I'm just going to put cheese on bread and live like a rat.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't mind it. I do like food.
Oh, yeah. Food is great. I personally can't do fine dining because I have a lot of food aversions that I now know are because of autism. I always thought I was just a picky eater, but it makes more sense now. So it would just be wasted on me. I'd be like, hey, can I get this $200 dish without 7 of the things that are part of it? Yeah, I'll still pay the $2. No, I'm not doing that. What about you, Caitlin?
I enjoy dining, period. Mm-hmm. I also very much enjoy food. I will do a fine dining. However, it is also it's a moment for me because I have so many food problems. Mm-hmm. They make me real sick. So then I have to list it all out and be like, here, present it to them and go, it's me. Do what you want.
Wow, you guys are not a great, sample of...
I know. However, because it is...
eating.
I will say, it is fine, at least with fine dining, they're going to bend over backwards for you at that point. They're like, you've paid the money. We're going to make these things. We're going to... Oh, no, you can't eat that. I've gone to a few... Two Michelin star restaurants in my life. Ooh. I know. Most of them were out of the country because who could afford it here? And
in this economy,
I almost wanted to ask, what is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Ooh, that's a better question.
I'm just wondering.
I had pickled calves' brains a couple of times.
Whoa.
Shit, yeah!
Yeah. I thought they were great.
You never know until you try it.
Anytime I think of cow's brains, I think of the movie The Salton Sea with Val Kilmer.
Oh, yeah.
Vincent D'Onofrio's character eats them with his scrambled eggs.
Yeah, because they're very creamy.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever eaten a pickled meat before.
Yeah, a brain is not... It doesn't register really as meat in your mouth. It's much more like egg or like a soft cheese.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Well,
now I'm interested in this.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of trying new things, let's get into some role play.
Is that
your bathing suit? Is that your overbite?
Now, one of you will be the drowning victim, and the other one gets to be our lifesaver.
I'll be the victim. All your life.
Okay, this is a decently long movie where a lot of things happen, but I somehow managed to condense the synopsis to one of my shorter synopses, and I'm really proud of myself for that. So let's go through this. And I divided it up into days, just like the film is divided up, with title cards and those beautiful shots of menus.
Oh,
The font on those menus.
Oh,
exquisite.
Yeah.
Exquisite. Just the
So
font.
beautiful.
no one understands design like Greenaway.
It's true.
He comes from the theater.
Yeah. And don't worry, I've got a question about that later. On Thursday, Michael Gambon's Albert Spica smears dog shit all over a man named Roy, including into his mouth before pissing on him. He enters Les Hollandaise with his entourage in tow, which includes his wife Georgina, played by Helen Mirren, and Mitchell, played by Tim Roth. As Pup the Kitchen Boy sings. Richard Borst, the chef, is unimpressed with the new neon lettering that Albert has brought, especially when it kills the power in the entire restaurant. He also rejects Albert's contribution of meat and seafood in trucks outside, despite Albert's threats of extortion.
Like, Albert, oh, Albert. This is not how you run a restaurant.
Mm-mm. He's basically playing at being a mobster in the UK. Do they have mobsters?
Yeah, they have the mob.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess now I'm thinking about...
They've got the Russian mob. They've got the, the English homegrown mob.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's kind of like an independent mobster.
Mm-hmm.
In the dining room, Albert is loud and vulgar, and Georgina notices a man reading as he eats at a table alone, who notices her back. They end up in the restroom together, wordlessly beginning a tryst until Albert bursts into the ladies, nearly catching them. This scene is so fucking beautiful and so tense, and I just like... The idea of it being so fucking hot for them to be doing this with the promise of potentially getting caught, I kind of get the appeal of it, but like, if Albert was my husband, I would not be risking it.
The chance of death is too high at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe at that point, though, what else is left worth doing in life?
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a film about taking your pleasure while you can get it.
Yes, very true. On Friday, they take their love affair to the bread room off the kitchen, assisted by Richard in their secret. And of course, Albert finds a way to interrupt them again.
This fucking guy.
I know.
This fucking guy.
He then harasses the love interest on the way into the kitchen, where he humiliates Pup and forces him to watch as he beats Georgina in the car. Poor Pup. On Saturday, a bruise-covered Georgina and the man make love among the eggs, again aided by Richard. In the dining room, we finally learn the man's name is Michael as he speaks for the first time, again as he's being harassed by Albert.
Separately, the way you said, and make love among the eggs was really beautiful, May.
Oh, thank you.
Make love among the eggs.
Eggs are such a sordid, sensual food.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I read a good book recently. You may have heard of it. It's called Cuckoo. See our episode of Tender Subject on Gretchen Felker-Martin's book, Cuckoo.
I'm embarrassed to admit that I instantly listened to all of it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be embarrassed about that. Whenever someone writes a review of one of my albums, I read it right away. I want to know what people think of my work.
I really loved it. I thought it was one of the most thoughtful engagements with the actual text of what I'd written that I've seen since the book came out.
Oh my God, thank you. That means a lot to me.
Yeah, no, it was really, really excellent analysis.
Thank you.
No.
Okay, gonna try not to cry tears of joy here.
Girl, I've already done it so many times today, so
On Sunday, Georgina and Michael make love in the poultry room and have their first real conversation. Terry and Patricia, two of Albert's entourage, make their way to a private area above the kitchen for a quickie, and she spies the lovers in their embrace. On Monday, Patricia reveals Georgina's affair to Albert, who stabs her in the cheek with a fork before rampaging into the ladies and then destroying the kitchen, searching for his wife.
Like you do.
Yeah. And like, this is a rampage. He is smashing everything he can and just fucking up everyone's lives in the process.
It feels so much like that I can't have you, no one can moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to destroy everything around me.
Yeah, I mean, he's like sexually and emotionally, he's a toddler.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he's throwing a tantrum.
He has the vocabulary of a very, very well-read man, though.
It's such an extraordinary performance for the simple fact alone, like, you know, without the rest of it, he almost never stops talking while he's on screen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have a question about that later. Richard aids Michael and Georgina in escaping in the rotten meat truck naked, which is absolutely disgusting, but also somehow kind of sensual and beautiful. The way they're holding each other as the truck and the meat are rocking. It's very, very strange.
We're all meat sacks.
They are brought to Michael's home, a book depository with an extraordinary view. On Tuesday, Pup brings them food and is unfortunately assaulted by Albert and his men on the way back to the restaurant. Richard brings the lovers another meal and the bad news about Pup, whom Georgina visits in the hospital. Unfortunately, Michael is visited by Albert and his men, who force-feed him books until he dies. When she returns, Georgina confesses the gruesome details of her life with Albert to Michael's corpse, then petitions Richard to cook him and serve him to Albert. On Friday, the restaurant is closed for a private function where Albert is greeted by everyone he has wronged and presented with Michael's cooked corpse. Georgina forces him at gunpoint to take a bite before ending his life with a single bullet and whispering the word cannibal. And that's the cook, the thief, his wife, and her lover. So tell me, Gretchen, when did you first see this movie and what was the impact it had on you?
I first saw this movie, I want to say it was 2017 or 2018. And I instantly fell in love with Peter Greenaway. I fell in love with Michael Nyman, his longtime collaborator. It's one of the most exceptional pieces of art that I've ever encountered.
It feels like a truly singular work.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I'm just so thankful that it exists because it feels like such an unlikely confluence of things.
It really is. I mean, you know, to like take this movie, the visual key to which is all these like paintings by the old Dutch masters, and turn it into something so dynamic and alive and exciting and like intensely sexual is such an achievement.
Truly. Caitlin, what about you? When did you first see this?
So I first saw this definitely like 2020, 2021. It came up in I have never seen this before. I've always wanted to, but it's not readily available. We definitely found it other ways. But what I do want to say is I remember just the cover of this VHS, like of the VHS when it first came out, because I would have been like 5. I remember it so clearly and always been kind of drawn to it. But like, I also knew the parent, like not everyone was a parent, but the adults in the room were talking about it being a dirty movie. And I was very intrigued, even as a 5-year-old going, well, what is it? And always Helen Mirren in that goatee, just serving cunt is woo! Whole time.
So beautiful.
One of my favorite details in the entire film, one of my favorite editing tricks in anything, is the way that her dresses change color as she moves between rooms.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I think I have a question about that later, too. I actually saw this in high school. I've talked before about Video Adventure, the place I used to rent stuff from in Evanston when I was younger. And just bless them. Bless their Criterion wall. Bless their basement full of obscure shit. Bless the special edition of Eraserhead and the letterboxed VHS copy of Lost Highway that they had. I miss this place so dearly. I had good rapport with everyone who worked there, and I had remembered seeing the cover for the VHS, because of course it's unmistakable, many times. And finally one day I asked the guy at the counter, like, hey, do you think I'll like this movie? Because he knew what kind of stuff I rented, and he was like, oh, you're going to love this movie. And I watched movies by myself a lot more when I was younger than I do these days. So this is one I watched alone, and I was just so enthralled the whole time. Again, it's a singular piece of work. I had never seen anything like it. It was overwhelming in such an exquisite way. And then I didn't watch it again until this year. I watched it back in the spring with my friend Olivia, who we were dating at the time. Now we're friends. And then I saw it at Facets, which is a little theater here that does repertory screenings a lot. And that was absolutely wonderful. And then I watched it again for this recording. So yeah, I watched it once, like 22 years ago, and then 3 times this year. and here's the thing, for how dense and grotesque and upsetting it is also so beautiful and so moving. And I was happy to watch it that many times in one calendar year. Yeah. And I'm really glad we're here talking about it.
What a wild statement.
I don't think I've ever made it through the film without crying.
Oh, same. I cried all 3 times I watched it. When I was watching it for this recording, I'm sitting there, I'm writing up my synopsis, and I kept having to pause it so I could cry and then gather myself and then put it back on. Well, before we move on, there's a lot of colorful side characters in this, some with no lines, but still so much personality. Who's your favorite?
I'm immediately thinking of the saucier who never wears a shirt.
Yep, same. That's my answer. I fucking love that guy. I love when Albert fucks up his sauce and he just like slams the spoon in it and starts swearing in French. It's beautiful.
Yes. That he's like the cook on a pirate ship, you know?
Yes, exactly. It's such an interesting bunch of characters who inhabit the kitchen in this film, and they're all so delightful to see. And but yeah, that saucier is.
Yeah, I mean, I say this as a former kitchen person. Kitchen people are freaks.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You don't work in a restaurant unless you're a freak.
Yeah.
And just like how different the people in the kitchen are from the servers.
Oh,
I mean, obviously visually as well, but it's just like, correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Now I'm just imagining someone doing this movie, but in the style of Ratatouille. And God. I don't think that would work very well, but it would be funny.
I think I would probably need to kill whoever did that.
Fair. Sorry about my brain. Caitlin, who's your favorite side character?
Well, definitely not the snitch. But, I did not pay enough attention, I think, to the side characters. Part of me is like, I want to say Mitchell, but even though he's awful, but I think it's just because I'm very attracted to Tim Roth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a weird, handsome rat man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's exactly
he's my Ratatouille man, so...
Well, before we all take off our... Wait, what's the chef hat? A toque?
Yeah.
Before we all take off our toques and reveal our own ratatouilles, let's find out a little bit more about the film in our next section, Faith and Chance.
I can't exist by myself because I'm afraid of myself, because I'm the maker of my own evil. Goodness is only some kind of reflection upon evil. That's all it is.
Caitlin, take me away.
I'm going to say a lot of this, kind of the history here of what was happening at movies at the time is from Michael Brooks' British film in the 80s, which was very helpful. Thank you, Michael Burke. And this was on BFI Screen Online. A lot of independent movies started to be made in England at this time. They completely changed the way they were broadcasting TV. They changed the way that kind of the contract between it's here in the theaters and then it goes to TV, because there's no streaming at the time, everyone, in case you were curious. Because this is 1989. And really, a lot of this came about because England added another channel. And you're like, what does that mean? They only had 3 TV channels. There was the BBC One, BBC Two, which you had to kind of buy in for the license. So you give your money automatically, kind of like a tax, to fund BBC One and BBC Two. There was a commercial station, ITV, and that was their stations until 1982, where we got Channel 4. Those people who are Great British Bake Off fans will probably recognize the name Channel 4, because Channel 4 got the rights to Bake Off at some point, and it was a huge thing. People rioted. They were so mad, and there's still a conversation about how the culture has changed on the show since it moved from the BBC to Channel 4. But that is a topic for definitely another time. So Channel 4 also ended up founding this feature film division. And this is what really changed when movies were in the theater versus when they were able to be shown publicly without having to pay. And so, this part is from Wikipedia, founded in 1982. The company, Film 4 Productions, develops and co-finances bold and original work from distinctive voices in the UK and international cinema, supporting both emerging and established filmmakers. So while The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover was not distributed by Channel 4, it was distributed by Palace Pictures, Channel 4 really broke through as they started giving funding to these more on the outskirts filmmakers and supporting independent work.
It's kind of similar to the public fund that Canada has for independent filmmaking.
Which is what gave us Cronenberg.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Horror Queers just covered Shivers, and they talked a lot about that. And I was like, thank you, Canada.
Yeah.
Australia. It's really cool to have movies that you're like, I'm going to fund these, and I don't care how well they do. And that's how you get art.
That's how you get great art.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's taking chances on unknown filmmakers.
Right.
And I thank fucking goodness.
And I'll get into this a little bit more because there is a question about it. Peter Greenaway, coming from the theater and really watching films in the very experimental in the 60s and 70s and making his own short films, and him going, I don't really want to make movies. I feel like Peter Greenaway I want to do kind of anti-movies. And for me in particular, I do find it very fascinating from this historical context, because the framework of the movie is based on a Jacobean drama, 'Tis Pity She's a Whore. which is actually a lot about incest. A lot about incest. Well, a brother and a sister getting together is like the main crux of the play, which is why it wasn't included in a lot of anthologies. It was written by John Ford. So they would put it in like John Ford's anthologies. It wasn't included.
And if the title of it sounds familiar, it's because David Bowie put a song out called that on Black Star.
Yes, he did. And I'm probably going to use it for some sort of social media when this comes out, I'm sure. So Jacobean, we're talking a lot about King James the First of England, and he was also the 6th of Scotland. Not a fan, personally. And it's really interesting to me that Peter Greenaway made the framework, this Jacobean drama. I think it premiered 1629, 1633. And then one of the main centerpieces in this movie is the banquet of the officers of the St. George Militia Company in 1616 by Franz Hals. So for people who don't know, Peter Greenaway, even before he's in theater, he wanted to be a painter.
That makes sense.
And one of the things that he said, he's like, my biggest problem with painting is they don't have soundtracks. And I was like, yeah. Well,
they can.
They could. And so it's the way he kind of sets up movies around, or especially this movie, around this gigantic piece of art by Frans Hals, who's Dutch. Oh, sorry. The way I always say that, I can never not think of Squiggle from Metalocalypse going, the Dutch are trash.
And I just saw Austin Powers Goldmember for the first time, so I'm just thinking about Michael Caine's character and his disdain for the Dutch.
Oh, sorry, you just said the first time?
Yeah, I had never seen Goldmember until a couple months ago.
We'll get to that later.
Okay.
I'm just shocked. So, Frans Hals, I'm probably saying Franz wrong because it's Dutch, and probably pronounced differently. It's kind of like that Van Gogh, how the Americans say it, how the British say it, and then how the Dutch say it. I think of them as like Van Gogh. You just go, I'm pronouncing it wrong. I am aware.
He's dead. What's he gonna do?
All right, just come at me, bruh. So we have the St. George Militia Company, which was protecting Haarlem, Haarlem, in the Netherlands, not Harlem in New York, for anyone who I just really confused. Mm-hmm. You know, they just said it protected. It was there. It was kind of like their standing army. It was a civic guard. And this is the main huge piece that's in the middle with all the guys in their uniforms and their sashes, their kicky little sashes. And the idea about this painting was kind of the sense of political hierarchy in the group. Mm-hmm. However, it differs from previous paintings of the same guards, because this happened a lot. There are different, like, even centuries. I think there's a painting of the same, not group of people because they weren't alive at the time or of age, but the same group. Civic guard. And the earlier paintings, they're very, very formal. This one's a little more relaxed. They're a little more slumped. They're a little more realistic in the way that they would present themselves. One of the things that was pointed out, it's large, it's square. Oh no, that was for the earlier one. That was large, square, and stiff. And I just left that
just
there.
How I like my dicks.
I was like, the square part was the only thing that gave me pause.
I mean, you know, I don't like big dicks anyway. I am not a size queen.
Who doesn't love a square?
I just did like Uma Thurman and like Daddy-O.
Yeah.
And Pulp Fiction Square.
Wow, talk about fitting a square peg in a round hole.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh,
So what
sorry,
was
everybody.
not square was wait, what is this guy's name? Franz Hals. Thank you. Oh my God. Franz Hals' painting differed because it wasn't a square. It was horizontal. Which when you watch a lot of Peter Greenaway's films, that feeling of like you are in a painting or in a gallery because of the long horizontal shots that he does really feeds into kind of understanding of the movie. They're more realistic, they're more relaxed in the conversation. And something I definitely want to bring up is that all of this, based on Jacobean drama, this painting, even though it's Dutch, so they would not have necessarily said Jacobean because that was very English, it's around the same time as well. And watching the movie, there's that line that Georgina has, which she's describing, her relationship with Albert, which is horrific. And she says, he wasn't interested in sex. Not with women, anyway. And I wasn't I'm like, what are we exactly talking about? And I don't know if it has anything to do with this. However, Jacobean King James I of England and the 6th of Scotland reigned from 1603 to 1625. And England is coming out of the Elizabethan era. And the Jacobean era, King James started the plantations in Ireland and also the colonization of the Americas, specifically our America, so the United States. And one of the things about King James is that he is very much thought to be a homosexual.
Scandal.
He had many, many very close relationships with men, more so than women. Didn't seem like he wanted to marry a woman. Did end up having 8 children, but also that's, at this point, is pretty much your duty to carry on your line.
A lot of fruits with kids out there.
Yes, and that as well. 100%.
What do you call the child of a fruit? All right. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You know what has just been banging on the back door of my brain this whole time is that Kate Beaton comic where Shakespeare is sitting next to King James and they're watching the Henriade and the actors on stage are going, and then the rulers of England got handsomer and handsomer until James the First. And King James goes, is that really how it happened? And Shakespeare just goes, yes.
Yes.
Oh, God, I have not seen that in so many years, but I know exactly what all of the panels look like.
Yeah, no, she's just such a unique talent for landing a punchline with one little expression.
And very famously, like, Macbeth was pretty much written for this king. He was very interested in witchcraft. Oh, fun fact, he also started a lot of the witch trials in England. Woo! He oversaw a lot of that.
If I recall correctly, he's the reason that there's an additional scene with the witches in Macbeth.
Yep.
Because it was added after Shakespeare wrote the play.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yep.
Honestly, good call. Witches are my favorite part of Macbeth.
Oh, there's something else I wanted to say there, and now it has vanished. Speaking of Shakespeare, it has vanished from my mind. Yeah, this piece of it, I was really fascinated by just because of Greenaway slipping that in really sly, and I'm like, one moment, please, sir. Hold my drink. I have things to look up. Also, King James. This is the King James from the Ving Rhames version of the Bible. So, thank you, Gene Belcher.
Wow, we got jokes tonight, y'all.
The Ving Rhames jibel.
Yeah, the jibel, the bibli. I mean, obviously, with this movie in particular, we're dealing a lot with sexuality. Greenaway made an interesting comment in this documentary on a version, the Blu-ray that I ended up getting, where he was talking about also nakedness as just normal. Like, he doesn't necessarily always want it to be sexual. He's like, because 9 times out of 10, if you're in a domestic situation, it won't be. And all of these little things coming together and weaving this line. The film still was about to get an X rating, though.
Of course.
I can't remember if NC-17 was actually introduced by this point. I don't
think so. I feel like that happened in the early 90s in the US.
Well, hang on, because Pink Flamingos was released with an NC-17.
17? Yes. I'm trying to remember, like, where they changed where you could have NC-17 or X.
70s.
No, NC-17 replaced the X rating in 1990.
Okay.
So previous to that, anything that would have gotten an NC-17 in the US was an X, which honestly, X is such a cooler rating for a movie than NC-17.
I think that's why they changed it.
Yeah.
It sounds too appealing.
It was too cool.
I think I've talked about this on a podcast before, but I tried to see The Dreamers when it was in the theater when I was 17, not realizing that you have to be 18 to see an NC-17 movie. So they took it from being cool to being confusing and lame.
Yeah. Knowing the MSRB, I'm sure it was intentional.
That was the thing, was they're like, oh, X is very much associated with porn. This movie is not pornography, which pornography can be art, so how dare you. And there was one release that was 95 minutes. So what's that, 30 minutes less?
Wow.
Yeah,
disgraceful.
For the big chains, I'm assuming Blockbuster. That was for Blockbuster, everyone.
Fucking evangelicals.
Good thing I never rented it from Blockbuster.
No, you would have gotten the wrong one. You've been really mad about it.
I would have.
Very quickly, just Gautier. Jean-Paul Gaultier. As people who have listened to this podcast before, you know I'm very bad at French. However, I'm really good at fashion designers' names because it's a big interest of mine. I love fashion. I love the history of fashion. And Gaultier is one of my fucking favorite designers of all time. Part of his Fifth Element, I think, but just like his mesh of sexy and bondage and pret-a-porter, all of it comes together, I think, so beautifully. And I love the way that he takes the time period, this coming out of Elizabethan England, and really boils it down so excellently into this movie. Just,
Again, I'm going to use the word exquisite. So, just to wrap up this section, the film has a score of 86% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 51 reviews. And again, that's an approval rating, not like how much they like the movie. It's got a 6.8 on IMDb. Too low, but understandable because...
Well, that's the cool zone.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because anything
that's when
else...
you know you could actually encounter something neat.
I never thought about it that way, but you're right. Because IMDb ratings, if it's too high, that means it's not going to...
It's going to be a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
You know, like something
like
that's just
Ratatouille.
like calculatedly inoffensive.
Yeah.
Yes, or just very, very white and very, very male.
This also has a 4.2 out of 5 or an 8.4 out of 10 on Letterboxd, which feels in line with Letterboxd users, I would say.
It's pretty high.
This is a 5-star movie for me, and it has been since the first time I saw it. I love this movie. And you know what people who make movies love? Making that money. Jesus Christ. And now we're going to dig into the meat, the goo, the viscera, the human flesh even, in a section we call Enough is a Myth.
No. I've done enough.
Enough is a myth.
Okay, y'all, you ready for some questions?
So ready.
Let's do it.
This film exists in a world of colorful sound stages with often matching costumes and has a focus on the artifice of itself, but never feels like it's being overly metatextual. Do you think Greenaway, in this instance, is commenting on filmmaking itself or simply making a bold stylistic choice? And do you think this would work as a stage play?
I do think it would work as a stage play.
Absolutely.
Not knowing Greenaway's thoughts, I wouldn't care to venture a guess, but I will say, to me, the most impactful element of it is on a stylistic level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I fully agree on both counts. What do you think, Caitlin?
100% with a stage play, the monologuing that Albert does to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be a demanding part.
So demanding. The very distinct sets that you have, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, and they're so visually different.
Mm-hmm.
As we talked about in The Devils with Bertolt Brecht and that idea of making social commentary or even making a commentary on anything, but also being very aware of the artifice is being used incredibly here. Like, this is it.
Right.
This
is like Brecht would have a giant boner for this movie.
Yes. A giant Brecht boner.
Brechtian boner.
A
Broner,
Brechtian
if you will.
boner. And
Perfect.
I
No
will.
notes.
Like, I feel like there's slightly metatextual because there's that point where he's like, oh, I saw a movie where the lead character didn't talk for the first half hour. And I'm like, you bitch. You clever bitch.
That's the only place where I feel like rather than just being what it is, it's Greenaway kind of like winking at the camera, but it's so brief and it's so beautiful, and it's making fun of itself because
It stands on its own also. It's not just meta commentary.
Right. Yeah. And it also makes sense for a character like Michael to make that comment.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot.
Yeah. And this and Greenaway comes from this idea. It's actually very Brechtian, where it's like he doesn't believe, in his own words, doesn't believe that you can ever be really fully immersed in a film.
Mm-hmm.
So why not call out the artifice of it?
Right.
Which, again, takes a very deft hand to do, though, and not make it interminable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think this is a director who was one of my early sort of gateways into loving film, and who I later fell off, and now I've sort of come back around on. Wes Anderson is someone who's like deeply influenced by Greenaway on a visual level. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't always work in his hands because he is not the storyteller that Greenaway is.
Right.
He gets a little precious sometimes.
But when he puts that away, he can do so much with the layers of artifice in front of you. He begins to like make a story all out of obscuring things.
Mm-hmm.
There's this beautiful moment in Asteroid City, which is the movie that really made me sit up and be like, well, maybe I've really dismissed this guy too quickly. Like, maybe there really is something here under all the dollhouse stuff. But there's this scene where character doesn't understand his motivation. So he leaves the movie that we're watching and he goes backstage and he talks to the playwright about why he would do this thing. And then he goes back into the movie and he has a conversation about not having motivation with another character in the movie. And she's talking to him about how he needs to use his grief. And metatextually, he has just found out that his real life gay lover is dead. But in the movie, his wife is dead. And he gives her this look of pure confusion. Like, what would that even mean? You know, like, which grief is mine?
Right.
And it's heart-stopping.
Yeah.
I love that.
I have actually not watched that movie, and I've been told I'd really like it, and I think this is the push that I needed to finally watch it.
I think it's the best thing he's ever made.
Nice. Yeah, I fell off with Wes Anderson for a while. I still haven't seen Grand Budapest Hotel.
There's a stretch of his films that I think are much less interesting to me. You know, I did not love French Dispatch. I did not love Moonrise Kingdom.
I did love Moonrise Kingdom. She was so totally mad. Fine. She was so angry the whole time. I was like, yes, little girl, live there in your anger.
All right, after our Wes Anderson detour, back to this movie. Michael Gambon has possibly more dialogue in this than any other character in any movie that I have ever seen. Yet, he's often saying nothing of substance. This seems to go hand in hand with the film's penchant for balancing beauty with grotesquerie. And I already called this a singular piece of work. So my question feels kind of moot, but like, is there any other film quite like this? Even another Greenaway film?
I would say that the Greenaway film most like this one is The Baby of Mekone. Which is also like very bloody and grotesque. That one I would say is much more metatextual because it's presented as a play explicitly, and it has two endings. One, the ending of the film we're watching, and one, the ending of the play within the film. And they are substantially different.
What do you think, Caitlin?
I mean, I don't think that there is another movie like this. Even other pieces that we've talked about, again, Ken Russell's The Devils come up with particularly the time periods presented in and how theatrical that feels, plays. I really like Peter Strickland as a filmmaker. I feel like he takes a lot, but very inspired. Yes,
Naked. Naked.
Yes!
There you go.
And how have I forgotten the director of Naked? Mike Leigh. That is a movie about a man who is just a bottomless conduit of disgusting nonsense. And like Albert, it really like comes from this place of complete inability to connect to other human beings.
Yeah. Yeah, and Caitlin, I believe you mentioned earlier that Mike Leigh was involved with BBC4.
So Channel 4, Mike Leigh was, he says that it basically saved the British film industry. Like, quote, "This is a non-negotiable historical fact of life, and anybody who suggests that this isn't the case is simply either suffering from some kind of ignorance or has got some terrible chip." Because then it just led to like this explosion of independent cinema, stuff that you would not have gotten money. And Mike Leigh took part in certainly Channel 4, and he also was part of the distribution company, or at least the studio that the cooks, the thieves, wives, and lovers were all filmed at. always want to say
the girl, and the other guy.
We just have to wait for the Tinker, the Tailor, the Soldier, and the Spy to get off the sound stage.
All right. I'm like, a bunch of guys, bunch of girls. Hey, anyone. This is like the third Bob's Burgers quote I just threw out there. Anyone who's counting.
And my brain just decided to try to mash up My Dinner with Andre with this movie, and I'm just imagining those two characters walking into this restaurant and trying to have their profound conversations while Albert won't shut the fuck up.
Jesus
who
Christ.
else reminds me of Albert? I mean, he's a very different character. He's much more charismatic and likable. But Ian McShane as Al Swearingen on Deadwood.
Cocksucker.
I feel like that's a performance that owes something to Michael Gambon in this.
Nice.
Oh, I love that so much. To this day, one of my favorite is Calamity Jane. Always, I'm just like, cocksucker, motherfucker. I cannot stop.
Robin Weigert just giving one of the greatest performances of all time with absolutely zero flowers.
For real.
I'm ashamed to admit I've never seen Deadwood.
Oh, it's
good.
It's the closest you're ever going to get to our century's Shakespeare.
Yeah, it is.
Well, that feels
phenomenal.
like a high endorsement.
Yeah, I would say that David Milch, at his peak, one of the greatest writers in American television and film.
Excellent.
And I think that's one of the things that makes also Michael Gambon's. Oh my God.
Michael Gabagool.
Yeah, the Gabagool. I was just talking about this the other day with a bunch of people from New Jersey who are Italian American.
Mungus Gungus, yeah.
Michael Gambon is Albert is so terrible. Mm-hmm. The ball's on Peter Greenaway to make him the central focus for like that first 30 minutes where it is so painful to watch him. As you said, he repeats himself a lot. He doesn't say much of substance. He is what a small little man just trying to
talks with his mouth full.
Oh my God. But then has the gall to tell other people you don't have any manners. You don't have taste. Mm-hmm. Bitch. Every time. I'm like, get out. Just get out. But however, how grotesque his character is, that performance is rooted in such a ugly truth that it never feels false.
No, even never.
Yeah.
Gross, disgusting things that he's saying. You're just like, I may have heard some of this before.
Yeah, it's like you were saying, Gretchen, he has a complete inability to truly connect with anyone around him. And so he makes himself this boisterous center of attention who's crude and vulgar and knows nothing but cruelty and shaming others because he's so ashamed of himself.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
And he's also kind of soppily sentimental. You know, you see it in that scene where he starts crying about how he wants kids, which is a sentence that I think could have multiple meanings.
I also thought that as well. I just
that
have
horrible
to say.
Scene where he drags Pup into the car and he's like ranting at Pup about his own childhood experiences of sex before he understood what sex was. Mm-hmm. And it's like the most unprocessed sewage of a monologue that I've ever heard. It's so upsetting that it makes my stomach curl in on itself. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, this is just like a human who was completely destroyed before he was even a functioning adult. Yep. Like there was nothing left.
What do you do for someone in that position?
I think you shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, there's no saving this person. They are ruined. We have to move on from that.
In my father's words, whoops, too late, get him up.
Oh, well, I don't have a good transition, but my last question is my fun softball question here. The film ends with Albert eating a small piece of Michael. What do you think he tasted like? And would you have taken a bite?
I think that Michael would be pleased to know that someone had enjoyed his body.
Mm.
I love that answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume like most human flesh, he would taste like pork.
Mm-hmm.
And also I trust Richard not to phone it in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he got like a nice marinade, slow cooked.
Right, and he looks like duck à l'orange when we see him.
He looks beautiful, I must say.
Sorry, I can't hear duck à l'orange without thinking of fucking Tim and Eric. Duck à l'orange.
I'm a huge Tim and Eric head.
Okay. Hoagie Man can't help you now. Yeah, I feel like the question of like, would you partake in cannibalism has come up for me on podcasts before. And like, if it was ethical, I would try it. I would try a bite of a person. And as someone who is not an adventurous eater, who like, I basically eat occasional pork, occasional beef, occasional chicken. And other than that, I mostly eat vegetarian, not for any reason other than that it's just what works for me. But like, yeah, I'd try a person.
Yeah.
I was brought up with the try it once. Maybe you really like it kind of thought process, which has very much got into how I approach food. I also, we had this thing when I was growing up where we would pick a cuisine. This was with my dad, not my mom, because my mom makes like, hi, Mom, if you're listening, I know you listen to only movies that you've watched, and I'm almost positive that you've watched this one. But my mom makes like grilled cheese, spaghetti, and mashed potatoes. My dad was the cook.
Staples.
My dad was cookins. At one point, we were doing all these things. We would pick a cuisine, and we would learn about that, and then we'd have to make a dish from scratch from that specific country, that subculture. So
it was like a whole immersive experience.
Yeah, we did this like whole immersive experience. And so my sister is not the same way, but for me, I have always been like, shit, I'll try it. Why not? For weirdest things, I don't think I answered, but like I've had duck intestine in Taiwan, and it was fucking delicious, everyone. I want you to know I had grilled duck intestine, nom nom nom. What I probably would not have again was...
Sorry.
I found it like chicken hearts, goddamn delicious as well.
Yes.
A little
I've heard that.
Little baby chicken head that I had in Taiwan. I would not do again. I've always been. Does everyone know what balut is?
I don't know.
Adventurous eating. So it's a Filipino delicacy.
Gretchen, didn't someone ask you the other day if you'd eat ortolan?
Yes.
Yeah, I remembered seeing that. Yeah.
I don't think I could do it. It's too horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's great. I really would like to put it in my mouth, but unfortunately, you tortured a little guy for that, and I'm not going to be a party to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, balut is a kind of fetal chicken. So it's part egg, part chicken. Or because of its little bits, I don't think I could eat it. But we ate that little chicken head in Taiwan. I would not do that again. It was not very good to me. Noted. But like I've also tried durian, which is the corpse.
Oh yeah.
Flower fruit. I've had durian ice cream, which, as I said, wasn't as bad when I ate it, but when I was burping like decaying flesh for the rest of the day afterwards, I did not appreciate that.
Oh no.
I recently had fish eyes for the first time.
Ooh.
I thought they were delicious. I thought they were wonderful.
I think I would like that.
Was the texture similar to boba?
That's my question.
It's more liquid than boba.
Okay. Because I tried boba recently for the first time, and I was not a fan.
I love it so much.
Funny,
that's why I was like, is it like boba?
When I was a kid, I ate a lot of like tapioca pudding at the grocery store. my mom would take me to the store. We'd go to the deli counter. She'd get me a little deli container tapioca pudding that I would eat while we were going through the store. But boba just, I don't know, did not like it.
It feels like new eyes in your mouth.
So Caitlin, is your answer yes? Would you take a bite of Michael?
Probably. God damn it. Not the penis, though. I don't know him well enough for that.
Fair. Okay, well, let's play a game.
Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
Caitlin, what's our game this week?
So for reasons that I will get into in a moment, it's not a very good game this week.
It's okay.
I kind of have one question that I want to ask everyone, and it is pretty ridiculous. So 1989 had another movie, the end of a franchise. Well, I shouldn't say. The third movie in a franchise, starring one man who's really big in, let's say, a different trilogy, and then another man who maybe is a bit older and starred in a different franchise. So this end of the trilogy was shot on the same soundstage as The Cook, the Thief, his wife, and her lover. Every time,
know
y'all.
What the answer is.
What is the answer? Which film was it?
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yes!
Are you kidding me?
Nope, same stage.
It's really funny because I didn't know that. I just figured that out from your extremely convoluted clues. My brain was like, send one worm this way and one worm the other way to listen to these facts.
I'm pretty sure I didn't write this one down, and I'm just going off of... I might also be a little tipsy. I'm going to get into this in a moment, so...
Wow, okay, so Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade shot on the same soundstage as this in the same year.
Yes, they would both release same year, same, like...
Incredible.
In England. In England. This isn't like the Paramount Studios. We're talking a lot smaller spaces.
I'm trying to think about like what they would have been shooting there, and I'm guessing like the cave set that they built was probably in there.
I think like the there's libraries, right?
Libraries. There's a library.
I'm thinking library.
And then there's also like the Nazi
Teacher's
mansion. We're here to see your tapestries. Okay, listeners, we've been forgetting to actually categorize the last few movies that we've been talking about because we've been so preoccupied by playing these games that Caitlin comes up with. So, Caitlin, Gretchen, would you call this a pleaser or a punisher?
Oh, it's both, but I would say primarily it's interest or punishment.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, yes. 100%. I think this movie, while it is very beautiful and it is very stirring, it also, like I said before, it's grotesque, it's confronting, it is very cruel in some ways.
It is so cruel.
And I think its cruelest notion is getting you to care so much about Georgina and Michael. And this love affair that they begin, only to take it away by having him brutally murdered.
This is one of like the most upsetting, I feel like, murder scenes I've ever seen. Mm-hmm.
That's
so
always
brutal.
Where I start crying the most. And then when Georgina is confessing to his dead body, I just like a fucking mess that whole scene.
That's the scene that does it for me. It kills me every time.
Holy.
Like the end of The Wicker Man, I just can't make it through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something so beautifully cathartic about it. Especially, and I know I talk about this all the time, but hey, when you've been in multiple abusive relationships, it really affects you. And as someone who has survived that shit, Georgina being able to finally tell someone about all of this is so important. It's so important, and it's so deeply moving. And I do love that she gets her revenge at the end. And it's this beautiful collective revenge of everyone there looking at Albert and basically going, you are nothing. Well, do y'all have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I'm going to go watch this movie again.
Excellent. Yeah, I need to actually buy a copy of this because I don't own it. So, Caitlin, send me a link to that Blu-ray.
Oh.
I'm honestly surprised Criterion hasn't put this out. It feels like a very Criterion movie.
Right. I think I got it off of either Arrow or Zavi. I think I had to get a British version of this.
Yeah.
It is the correct region, but it was not put out in the U.S.
Got it. I've gotten some good stuff from Zavi, honestly.
I love Zavi. I mean, now with tariffs, things are...
It's not supposed to apply to recorded media, so it's not supposed to apply to movies or music.
I don't know the rules because they keep changing.
Yeah, no, otherwise I'd be fucked because the record pressing plant that I used is in Taiwan. And if I was getting hit with tariffs on those, I would be screwed.
And this is my GoFundMe. Please help me with tariffs. Tariffs, everyone. Tariffs. This movie is so fucking meticulously made and laid out. It is, as you said, grotesque, so grotesque and so upsetting. Particularly when we find out what, not just the physical abuse that we can, and emotional and mental abuse that we can see on screen, but the abuse also that was happening off screen to Georgina. And with her still dressing up and going out every fucking night. With her asserting her space every fucking night, even if it is, low key, on the down low, she is still asserting her space. The clothing, the goatee that she is wearing, that final scene, and that costume, the power of the cock feathers, really, because those are rooster feathers, like the cock feathers that she's wearing. Yeah.
She pulls it off a lot better than Elliot with 2 T's. Sorry, Elliot.
Sorry, Elliot.
Oh, no, wait. It wasn't Elliot. It was, what's her name? Joey something. It was the same season, but she wore a chicken feather boa and everyone was making fun of her for it.
Yeah, and I will
Sorry, my Drag Race poison brain.
I was like, what the fuck
following.
is she talking about?
I was following. My brain has also been poisoned by Drag Race. You're welcome, everyone.
Fuck you, RuPaul.
God damn it.
RuPaul is fracking.
Seriously.
And just, the power of how Albert has been talking and talking and talking and not stopping. And we finally stop to be able to hear Georgina's piece. Not just fucking around in the bathroom, which hot as hell. That bathroom's very clean. I think we've talked about bathroom sex before. Bathroom is very, very clean. Caitlin's a little bit of an exhibitionist. I tried to have sex in the bathroom. It didn't go well. I hurt myself.
Yeah, my worst nightmare is trying to have sex in a bathroom and like someone making a mess on the floor in the next stall and it coming over into my stall.
Oh my god, why would you put that image in my head?
I was about to say, I have never thought of that, May. Ever.
I'm never going to fuck in a bathroom again. Thanks a lot.
I'm so sorry. This is what the inside of my brain is like all the time. OCD is horrible.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, do you have contamination OCD? Apparently, yes.
Yeah, it's... I didn't know I was a germaphobe until I met my best friend who, she's a therapist and a lot of her clients have really extreme OCD. Mine is not that bad, but she was like, "You're a germaphobe." And I was like, "I am? I didn't know that." And, it's one of those things where when someone tells you something about yourself that you didn't realize, you're able to apply that lens to everything that happens from that point forward. And yeah, compared to most people, I am definitely a germaphobe.
And I'm like, lick it up, baby. Lick it up. This is going to help me in the long run. I'm going to be stronger.
Well, the last thing I want to say about this movie is Michael Nyman's score, which we touched on earlier. It is used so masterfully. The emotional reactions that he is able to elicit from me just with this instrumentation alone is astounding. And then anytime you add the vocals in, especially Pup's soprano vocals,
chorus, yes.
Yeah, it's just, again, I feel like it adds to the singular nature of this as a film. And again, I'm so glad this exists. I'm so glad that I discovered it so long ago, and I'm so glad that I've gotten to watch it 3 fucking times this year. And listeners, I don't know if we have any listeners who don't watch the movies we cover and listen to the episodes anyway, but
it's my mom. Wait, no, she's not listening to those.
If you have not seen this movie, please seek it out. It's the beauty of it is worth the grotesquerie.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, let's let Julie James scream at us and wrap up with what's coming up next.
Don't you see? He's got us now. Okay, this is exactly what he wants. We can't go to the police, not now. He's made sure of that. He's just out there and he's watching us and waiting. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
That brings us to the end of our episode. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey, fellow travelers. If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review wherever you can, because it helps more people find the show, and it makes us all tingly inside.
Oh.
You can find us on Instagram at Pleasers and Punishers, and on Blue Sky at Pleasers Punishers. You can find me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Everson Poe. You can find my music on Bandcamp, Ampwall, and streaming services as Everson Poe, 2 separate words. You can hear me on Tender Subject, talking about body horror and cannibalism, where I already mentioned we have an episode on Gretchen's book, Cuckoo. We also covered Manhunt a while back, and yeah, I cannot wait for us to cover Black Flame, because honestly, I don't know which of the 3 books is my favorite, but I plowed through Black Flame so fucking fast, and I feel like there's so much to talk about there, especially as someone who talks about movies a lot and is a queer trans Jew. If you've read the book, you'll understand. I don't know when the vinyl pre-orders are going up for my album. The production finish date got pushed from November 22nd to December 8th, so hopefully sometime around when you're hearing this, you'll be able to actually pre-order a copy of my record on vinyl. But until then, Caitlin, where can you be found on the internet?
I can be found at Caitlin of the North on Blue Sky and Instagram, Cat of the North on Letterboxd, and then I have a very exciting news.
Yes, tell us.
So I found out today, which is why I'm a little tipsy. Our short film that we submitted for the 48-hour film festival is going to our cities. We were nominated for a bunch of awards, basically.
That's so great.
So
Congratulations.
very excited. Thank you. One of them was Best Actor, and I was the only actor on screen, so I guess that's me.
So can I read off all the awards that y'all were nominated for, or is it going to make you barf? Okay.
I mean,
so you sent me this. Best of, best actor.
Like best movie, yeah.
Yeah, best movie, best director, best actor, best art direction, best special effects, best use of dialogue, and best scream or bloodiest or what the fuck or goriest or creepiest or best death. That's a lot of fucking nominations for this short film.
That's a Return of the King lineup, man.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, this is why, as I kept texting everyone today, I feel like I'm going to vomit.
Mm-hmm. Well, as long as you don't eat tomatoes like Denethor, we're fine. Well, that's so exciting.
I know. Next time, you'll find out how far we got. Because
everyone cross your fingers.
Recording on Thursdays, so Monday, that's the awards for the city. And if we win Best Picture short film, we go
Then you go to regionals.
I know. Someone's like, do you go to like regionals? I'm like, I think we actually go international. So
holy shit.
It might
incredible.
be to Lisbon.
Ooh.
We get 48-hour film projects, so they put on a Filmapalooza every year, someplace different in the world, and this year is Lisbon, and everyone who wins for their city, I believe, gets to go to that. So
incredible.
I believe it's pronounced lesbian.
Yes.
Oh,
some do
thank
say.
Thank you for correcting me. I do very appreciate that.
Anytime.
Well, Gretchen, where can you be found on the internet?
You can find me at Scumbelievable on Blue Sky and on Patreon under my own name.
Excellent. Thank you again so much for joining us for this. I mean, besides loving your books, I adore you as a person. I love seeing all of your hot takes on the internet, even the ones that I don't agree with, which happens sometimes. Yeah,
I love being able to not agree with someone and still be like, I still like that person. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, that's one of my favorite skills for adult life. You know, like this is something that I had to learn with my partner Sam when we first got together, which is like 14 years ago. And we've gotten really good at disagreeing, and it's, you know, it's a skill that's carried over. And I love to disagree with the people I'm close to. Like, it's generative and exciting, and a little bit of friction, like, keeps you from stagnating.
Yeah, and it makes for fascinating conversation.
And also, for the record, Tender Subject, probably my favorite podcast. I'm a big fan right back at you guys. It means a lot that you think so highly of my work.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, I'm trying to come up with a concept for my next album, and I was thinking about basing it on some stuff from Black Flame. So I was gonna talk to you about that to make sure it was okay.
You absolutely have my blessing.
Awesome. Well, that's very exciting.
I just very quickly want to give a shout out to Haunted Burrow Books in Seattle. They did have a book club on Black Flame yesterday, and I was supposed to go, but I was so busy that I was not able to make it. But shout out Haunted Burrow Books, Seattle. They do a lot of queer, witchy horror shit. They're on Capitol Hill. They are amazing. Please go support them.
And my bestie was in Ann Arbor and Detroit this past weekend, and she saw that Cuckoo was a featured book that was like an employee pick in a bookstore there.
That's so nice.
And she wanted to make sure that I told you that, because I think she's only read Manhunt so far, but she's a slow reader, and she read that book so fucking fast. And was like texting me as she was reading it, like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. It was wonderful.
I love that.
Okay, everyone. Next week's episode is going to be on The Menu, one of my favorite movies the last few years. And, I forgot to say at the top of this episode, this was our first Decadent December episode. So we're doing food-themed movies this month, and we're going to have themes pretty much every month all the way through next year. We currently have our schedule planned out all the way through the end of September 2026 because we are fucking dorks.
Fuck yeah. What a nerd.
But until next week, do some aftercare, clean your toys, set healthy boundaries, and...
Hannibal.